All right, so solve for x. Again, you can use any method you want. You can try to factor, you can try to complete the square, use a quadratic formula, whatever you want. So this first one is factorable, so I'm going to factor it. 3x, x, let's see, this is 2 and 4, so if I make this a 4, that gives me a 12 and a 2. So negative 12 plus 2 is 10. We set those equal to 0, so 3x equals negative 2, x equals negative 2/3, and x equals 4. Number 2 is not factorable. I'm going to complete the square. I choose that because the middle term is even. This is faster than the quadratic formula for me, because half of 10 is 5, minus 25 plus 1. That's negative 24. X minus 5 squared is 24. So x equals 5 plus or minus root 24. And then that's 4 times 6, so 5 plus or minus 2 root 6. I kind of skipped some steps there. I took the square root of both sides and then added 5 to both sides. But to me, that's faster than the quadratic formula. But you can do the quadratic formula if you want. All right, general form of the equation. We've talked about this. There is your quadratic formula. Between yesterday and homework, you should be getting this down. You should know it. If not now, then by the end of this lesson, you should know it off the top of your head. All right, so I want you to pause the video and try this one on your own. So we have a equals 5, b equals 6, and 6, c equals negative 8. So our formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so let's see, negative 6 plus or minus the square root, 6 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah, so usually what I do is I do it in a couple steps. So I plug in and then I do the inside of the square root. So I'm going to do this on the side because I don't have my calculator. So it's 36 plus 20 times 8, 160, 196. Oh, so this one's factorable because the square root of 196 is 14. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus 14 all over 10. So let's see, negative 6 plus 14 is 8 over 10. Negative 20 over 10. So we get 4/5 and negative 2. All right, try this one now. A is negative 1, B is 6, C is 11. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I know you like my singing. Let's see. 36 plus 44. 36 and 44 gives me 80. Okay, so now 80 can be simplified. 80 is not 4 and 20. It's 16 and 5. So that means it's 4 root 5. So I'm going to write this as negative 6 plus or minus 4 root 5 all over negative 2. So I get 3 plus or minus 2 root 5. So now notice when you divide the 4 by the negative 2, it doesn't do anything because it's plus minus anyways. That would just make it minus plus. So that doesn't really matter. However, notice negative 6 divided by negative 2 is a positive 3. All right, so we talked about this yesterday. When you get a negative under the square root of the quadratic, write no real solution. Include the statement, and I want your answer with the negative radical. I want both. So my guess is this will be an example. So let's go through. We need 0 on one side. So let's see, 0 equals, move that 7x squared, 8x squared, minus 9x, plus 3. Ooh. So negative b, 9 plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so we got 81 minus 32 times 3 is 96. That gives me negative 15. So we get 9 plus or minus the square root of negative 15 all over 16. So because we have a negative under the square root, it is no real solution. And we're going to go over why that happens later. All right, here's another one. Try it. X squared minus 5x plus 25. So like this one, I wouldn't want to complete the square because it's odd. Like those were hard, the 5 over 2, and then you got your 25 over 4. It's just annoying, right? So x equals negative b, 5 plus or minus the square root, 5 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we get 25 minus 75. Just kidding. I did that in my head. The answer is 75. It's minus 100. Gives me negative 75. However, what I am going to do is simplify 75. So 75 is 25 times 3. So I'm going to write this as 5 root negative 3. I'm going to still leave the negative on the inside. So 5 plus or minus 5 root negative 3 all over 2, and that is no real solution. All right, last quadratic formula problem. So you can move it to either side. I usually like my a to be positive, but it doesn't actually matter. So then I have negative b, 11 plus or minus negative 11 squared minus 4ac all over 2 times 2. So this one's going to work out because I have a negative. That right side, I've got 2 negatives, so it becomes a plus. So it's 121 plus 720. 8 times 90, 841. I have no idea if that simplifies. It might. I'm going to leave it, but that very well might have a perfect square in it. But I don't know what it is. I hope not, because that's a lot of work. All right, I'm going to just leave it. All right, so these are the same exact problems as yesterday. I just changed the numbers around. So I want you to try it on your own this time. So we're writing the equation. So we start with x equals 3. And remember, we're going backwards. So when you solve, you're setting the factors equal to 3. So x minus 3 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. And then the next step, we had x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. And then multiply that out. X squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So we're just going backwards. We have 5 plus root 6, 5 minus root 6, so that came from x equals 5 plus or minus root 6. Subtract the 5 on both sides. That square root of 6 came from squaring both sides, or square rooting. Opposite of square rooting is squaring. So we got x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 6. Subtract 6 on both sides. X squared minus 10x plus 19. And that is it. We are done. Homework 11. Have a great day.